don't get in on this foolishness, because you know how you got a lot of people that get with, go along and do stuff even though they know it ain't right. The king tell them to do it and they're going to do it anyway. So guess what? They lost their life. See, don't mess with God's anointed, amen? And so he said, turn up 7 times, oh, we'll do it. But the individuals that put him in there died. Verse 23, and these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound in the midst of the fire. And so when it comes down to it, all this is going on. King Nebuchadnezzar sitting back there. I'm just giving y'all a little Bible story today. But King Nebuchadnezzar is sitting there, and he's looking at everything that's going on. And then he, hold up. Didn't we put 3 people in there? Something's going on, because I'm looking, and there's a 4th man. Now, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, because I said put those 3 in there. There was no other individuals that were on trial and going to be put into this fire. And so when it comes down to it, they answered and said to the king, yeah, it was 3 that was actually put in there. And he said, I see 4 men walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. See, that just makes me just excited, amen, to let you know, guess what, he coming through, amen. We ain't by ourselves. We get in some tight situations sometimes, some hot places in our life, some fiery places in our life, some places that we ain't have no control over. Sometimes we get in situations in our life, and it wasn't because of anything that we did. Because of somebody else. We may get in those situations and it seems like there's no way out, but guess what? You got to know that that 4th man is right there with you, amen? You got to know that in the midst of everything that you're going through, that you are not by yourself. God is by your side. You just got to trust him. And so then Nebuchadnezzar went near the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, spoke saying, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God. He got to change your heart now. You know, he giving them much props. Because, you know, I put y'all in this fiery furnace. The people that put you in, they done died. I'm looking in, y'all up in that joint probably praising God and some, untouched, with another person. And so now he's talking about servants of the Most High God. Come out and come here. So then they came out from amidst the fire. And what amazes me is that it says these men, it says, and they saw these men on whose bodies the fire had no power. See, guess what? That fire ain't have no power against the power of God. You think about stuff that take place. God's supernatural power can keep you in situations that your mind can't even contain. That's right. You think about it, it makes absolutely no sense that people can be in a burning fire where their hair should be scorched, their clothes should be scorched, their skin should be falling off of their body, amen. They shouldn't even be alive and breathing, but these individuals walked out like ain't nothing happened. Come on now. See, guess what? That's how we need to be in the midst of a fire. We need to walk around like ain't nothing happened, amen. Oh, I may have been in the fiery furnace, but what? I'm all right. They came out with no smoke smell, clothes wasn't burnt, all good, still praising God. Why? Because they refused to give into the power of the enemy. They refused to bow down and worship something other than the true and living God. And so we got to get to the point where we stand for righteousness no matter what. No matter what. That's right. We got to be bold soldiers for Jesus Christ. And so their bodies had no fire, no power from the fiery furnace. Their hair of their head was not singed, nor their garments affected. And the smell wasn't even on them. And so because they made a stand for righteousness, just like we got to make a stand for righteousness, we got to believe that if we stand for right, it's going to make a difference. Because I'm going to tell y'all, sometimes you'll feel like, what's the use? Sometimes that devil will try to work on your mind and say, what's the use? It seems impossible. Nothing's going to change, so why do it? Some parents sometimes feel like, why keep trying to enforce what's right, because it ain't going to make a difference. Stand for righteousness and believe that your stand for Christ will make a change. And so because these individuals refused to bow down, Nebuchadnezzar was speaking a different thing. Verse 28 says, Nebuchadnezzar spoke saying, blessed. He said, blessed. Now he blessing God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him. They ain't know what to expect. All they knew is that, guess what? God may not deliver, and we go up here and burn up to a crisp. But you know what? Despite that, they just trusted him. And he said, these individuals who trusted in him, and they have frustrated the king's word and yielded their bodies that they should not serve nor worship any god except their own.